if you had 3 words to describe NLBP, what would they be?
I would say accountability,
Okay.
mentoring, and the challenges. And I mean challenges in like the 90-day challenge and
Right.
there's other ones that Camille will do during the year as well that also have propelled me forward as well.
Okay.
So it's great to have these kind of spattered throughout the year, to have things to look forward to and different ways and, you know, things to just push you out of your comfort zone so that you can grow more.
Hi, everyone. Welcome. I'm Catherine Gagno, Executive Director at the NLBP, the Natural Life Business Partnership. And welcome to our Tribe Talks. Today, we are thrilled to have Katie Fasciano join us. I would love for you to just share with our audience, across all social channels, what is your, share with us your journey, your story, and which led you to Seimei.
So my journey started a long time ago. My eldest daughter came into this world, a healthy young little baby. But unfortunately, about a year into that journey of her life, she was diagnosed with a rare brain tumor. And it was quite an aggressive tumor. So we had spent off and on many years trying to battle the cancer and have it be gone. And by the third onset of this disease, it was 5 years into her journey. She was just a 6-year-old. And the picture was really painted poorly by the doctors of her surviving and, not very long of surviving. Right. So it brought my awareness to the fact that maybe there's something we can be doing to complement the traditional medicine. And I talked to a friend that I had met in the past 5 years that was doing alternative things for her son. And I asked her, what are you doing now? And she said, oh, I do this thing called Seimei, and they have an open night tonight that people from the public can go. And I said, okay, I'll be there. And off I went with my eldest daughter. And at this point now I have 2 little ones as well. And we all show up there and it was super incredible. I got into the space and I felt this inner knowing that I was home. And I felt enveloped in love in the room. And I was like, whoa. What is this? I was kind of running on autopilot and very numbed out from these past 5 years. So for me to have this like gut feeling was like, where is this coming from? And I must have intuitively knew this was something really great. I mean, from the feelings I got, and also just, to see there was help for my daughter.
Yes.
And within a few weeks, I had been going twice a week, every week when they were open to the public. And a few weeks in, they said, oh, we're going to help her to walk and run better. She had come out of her first surgery at 1 year old, paralyzed on half her body. And so she was wearing orthotics to support the muscles in her legs to help her to walk better. But with Seimei, they said, well, the technique can help her too. I said, let's do this. So they focused that session on helping her to walk and run better. Midway through, they said, okay, Elizabeth, go run around the room. And I instantly choked up with tears because I was like, oh my gosh, I've never seen my daughter walk or run more beautifully than she did in that moment.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, where do I sign up? And thankfully, I saw such an impactful experience with her and her Seimei experience because she had further challenges that came up in the near future. And but I had started learning it. And when doctors, maybe 6 or 7 months after that, said, oh, she only has 2 weeks to live. The cancer has progressed and it's really, to a point that, she's only got 2 weeks to live. I turned and leaned on other practitioners out there more advanced than me and said, okay, now what? And they said, okay, now we're going to have a bigger, better chance to work with her and make a bigger change because now she's not going to be on any of these hard chemotherapy and other medicines that she's on. Let's give it a go. And myself and many other practitioners worked on her multiple times a day, every single day. And that 2 weeks that doctors thought she would only survive turned into another 9 months that she survived.
Wow.
I mean, as a mother, every single extra second of that time was priceless.
Right.
And it let her little sisters grow up a little more and remember a little bit more about her sister before she transitioned.
I mean, I first, I think you're courageous in so many different ways. But not only did you have a child who had needs, you still had little ones. I mean,
Yes.
like, wow, like uncharted waters. Like,
Yeah.
so I'm just like blown to pieces. I didn't know that aspect of it before. So
Oh my
you're
gosh.
bringing tears to my eyes. I'm like, wait a minute.
Yeah, me too.
I like stress when I'm like, the strength that you just exude. So I'm really blown to pieces, to be honest. So I mean, it's very it's heartfelt, it's inspiring. So I'm in awe. So I hope you do realize that you truly are an inspiration. You know, just in
I'm
this,
like all choked up.
I know, but just in these 5 minutes, I really didn't realize that. When we talked the first time, you didn't share that piece of this. You had said you had gone, but I didn't know there were babies in tow, if you will. You know,
That was really intense.
yeah, I can only imagine. So I do think so. Please do know that this is truly an inspiration to everybody. And that's Tribe Talks it's about inspiring, but you've moved me. So, cause am I darker, like my moments, I'm like, and I'm like, but I'm going to think about this and, really think like, wow. So truly, please, I mean, you should smile for yourself because you did this and, and you made a difference in your daughter's life. Even though she may not be here, but you gave her something that, you know, everyone else, you defied all the odds. And I think and I understand that. And I think, I hear a lot of stories and people talk about different practices in terms of which they've turned to during these moments. And I think it leads me to, I think there is a similar theme that keeps kind of recurring. And it's about this mindset and it's being open. And it sounds like, and I could be wrong, and I don't want to put words in your mouth, but it was almost like your last resort, if you will, or like, your last attempt, like, like I'm open to trying something, anything.
Yes, I was very, very, very open because on a third go round with, I didn't mention, a stage 4, very aggressive tumor,
Right.
where we had very little chance of her surviving the first battle. And now we're on the third battle.
Right.
It was like, oh, wait a second, we've got to pull out like, more tools here. I appreciate and always honor and always followed the traditional medicine, but how can we support this journey better? And, and it didn't just support her in giving her more length of time, but on a physical level, and especially on an emotional level, because now as a 6 and 7-year-old, when she was going through this battle versus the 1-year-old and 2-year-old battles, she was much more wise. She realized at this point, she had been in school now, and she realized, oh, wait a second, all my friends don't have these horrible headaches. Oh my gosh, all my friends don't have to be hours and hours doing procedures and blood transfusions and IVs and surgeries and da. I mean, one of the most heartbreaking things she told me at the beginning of that third journey was, Mommy, like, because she knew she had to go a lot to the hospital again. She goes, Mommy, I just want to go on the bus. I just want to go to school every day. And it was like, oh my gosh, like most kids, like, I'm feeling sick. They don't want to go to school. Well, she saw the difference. Like, oh my gosh, like if it's go to the hospital, go to school, I want to go to school, Mommy.
Right. It's like wise beyond the years. Yeah, it's wise beyond the years, right? And it's almost, not to say, but sometimes, it goes back to this idea of gratitude, and it's, you almost want to share these stories with children who are in school, because I think maybe perhaps puts things into perspective. And I know it's young and it's a lot but if they can be on devices, then there's no reason why they can't hear these stories, because these are stories of inspiration, and they should be, it goes back to this whole idea of gratitude and being grateful. And again, it's all about this mindfulness, which I think it is such a common thread, not just through NLBP, but through life. And I think, you were very open for your own mindfulness and to be open-minded
Right.
to trying something beyond traditional medicine.
And
Because that helped you, but it also helped your daughters. So
right.
with that being said, and again, I have no idea. I had no idea what Seimei is. I was like, what is this? I've heard of Reiki. You know, there's all different practices,
Yeah.
but we talked about, and I did agree because I'm going to be a very open-minded. But you said you would do actually demonstrate what Seimei is. So I think this would be a good transition if you agree,
Okay.
and we could do that. And you tell me if I need to move my camera more or what do I need to do to do this. So,
Well, I think your camera's okay. We'll focus. There's a check-in process that we do, at the beginning of a session or a quick demonstration, as well as at the end and in between if it's a full session.
okay.
But in this case, we'll just do the beginning and the end of a quick demonstration. And we're going to focus on your upper body because
Okay.
that's what's best seen in the camera right now.
Yes.
I'm going to go ahead and do it along with you, but
Okay.
I'll talk you through it. So we're going to move the head first. We're going to bring the head down
Okay.
and then back and to the right and to the left. And then twisting the shoulders back and rolling them forward. And when you've just put your head and shoulders in motion, are you aware of, maybe one side being more tight or sharp pain or achiness or anything going on, less flexibility on one side?
It's kind of all sits in the center in the back.
And when did you feel it most? When your head was going forward, back, to the right, to the left?
Probably when it was going forward and then like forward and then back.
Okay, so just do that one more time, the forward and then the back. So you can kind of pinpoint where you're feeling it. So where exactly on the back of the spine are you feeling? Is it at the very top, the
It's
whole
like
line?
right at the top.
Right at the top? Okay.
Mhm.
And would you call it a tightness, an achiness, sharp pain?
I would say like an achiness.
An achiness. And on a scale 1 to 10, 10 being most intense, what would you say it's feeling like right now?
I would say a 7.
A 7. Okay, so for just about a minute, I'm going to be connecting to you virtually. This can be done over the phone or over a video call.
Mhm.
And then we're going to have you do that with your head again, the forward and back. But right
Okay.
now, you can just have your head relaxed. So
Okay.
I'm going to just push back a little bit. You'll see my hands a little.
Okay.
And I'm starting now. Okay, so if you
Okay.
could please move the head forward and back again. Tell me if you're noticing a difference.
I do. It's like looser.
Okay, looser, great. And then rolling the
Like
shoulders. You may even feel it overall because it helps the whole body, even though we're focusing on one specific area.
right, but I didn't have the pain.
Okay, so the achiness was gone, or
Achiness was gone.
so from a 7 to a 0.
Yes.
Beautiful. In
Yes.
that quick
Like I
amount.
felt, yes.
Wonderful. Seimei is amazing like that, and anybody can do it, even CPAs like myself.
So numbers to arts.
Yes, yes.
So that's amazing. So where does the technique, where does the practice originate from? Actually, I'm curious.
Yes, it originates from Japan. And
Japan. Okay.
if anyone is ever interested in learning it, there's a lot of teaching here in the US, but there is also this absolutely magical, amazing trip that you take for a week into Japan.
Right. And can you share a little bit, as really quickly, not quickly, but I wouldn't just touch on that, because you actually said you're an educator, or you're heavily involved in the foundation and the education as well as Seimei. So I'd love to just hear a little bit about that, because I think it's fascinating, and I love how not just do you practice as a healer for this practice, but share us more about the foundation aspect to it and the educational component, because I think that's really interesting as well, and I didn't know that it existed. So
Right. Well, there's a teaching center here right in the state I'm located in, New Jersey, which definitely was beneficial to me because we only have 2 teaching centers right now here in the US.
oh wow, okay.
So it was great to have it right here. The journey, you have a little, let's say, preparatory teaching, a little basic teachings of Seimei here in New Jersey or on the West Coast. And then you take a journey for a week to Japan. There's a special ceremony you go through. And in that ceremony, it just changes everything. It sets your Seimei, your non-physical part of yourself. It's stagnant. And then this ceremony brings it to motion. And now with that motion, as soon as you're done that ceremony, you can make a difference. You can, like the demonstration that I did from a distance, a new student, they wouldn't be doing it from a distance. But if they were your neighbor, let's say, they could show you a minute after the ceremony and they'd make that same change in you. So it's really incredible. There's so much more knowledge. And then you come after that week to Japan, you come back for about an 8-month program that you learn. And then there's further levels up from that, but the further levels are all based in Japan.
Okay.
Which I have started those advanced levels, but
wow,
that's a lot of travel to Japan,
right.
but not necessary. It's just, it's to each individual person how much further they want to go in their education.
Okay. No, I love this. I think it's amazing. And I love that it spoke to you. Or because of your daughter, it brought you to Seimei. There was a reason. So I do think it's amazing. And
what I would definitely add that I really would love to add is as a mom for those first 5 years before I found Seimei, it ached my heart so much, really did, that why couldn't my hugs and kisses make her better?
Right.
And I mean, it was helping. It certainly was helping, but it wasn't,
right.
Making shifts like I wanted to see in her. But once I found Seimei and I was able to learn it myself, it was so empowering as a mother to now have this tool to help her, we're driving to the hospital and now she's this wise 6-7-year-old that knows better, that she shouldn't be stuck with needles and doing all these other extensive things that a cancer child has to go through. But instead of her getting all heightened and in a really bad spot, now I was able in the car to do Seimei to her as we drove there. And she showed up instead of as a frantic, anxious little girl. She was calm and peaceful, and it just helped everything flow so much smoother.
Right. That's because it's collectively she was open as well, which is amazing.
Oh my gosh, was she? And when you're a practitioner, your children can naturally mirror you and do things. So she was so much like she would, kind of do it herself too. Like, and when her grandpa was sick in the hospital, she was all about doing Seimei for her grandpa,
Oh, I love that. That's
so
just
dear.
Oh, that's amazing. I really do. I love this. So, which leads me to your journey, and which led you to NLBP 3 years ago, speaking of. And so bravo and thank you. But you shared on your call, what you love about NLBP. And it's interesting. Every member obviously has different takeaways. But yours, your experience, I think, and you're the only person who has shared this thus far, which I thought was really unique. Others will say different parts of the benefits, but yours was the 90-day challenge. And I'd love to hear a little bit more what for you was what is it about the 90-day challenge that you really love, and how has it helped you? So I'd love to hear a little bit about that, if you don't mind sharing.
Absolutely. Yes. I had been kind of following NLBP and their events for, a good chunk of months. And finally, August or September, about 3 years ago, I went to a coffee, like they call it Coffee with Camille, who's our founder. But we had these satellite locations throughout, different areas. And I went to that as my first experience, which was fantastic. The support and camaraderie of the different members was incredible. And right there, I was like, wow. And they happened to then say, oh, and as of October 1st, which was, only a few weeks later, we're starting this 90-day challenge. And I said, oh my gosh, whoa, if I could do this, I just knew, like, for me, like, give me a goal, give me, so
Right.
it's this 90-day challenge, these last 3 months of the year, give me this chance to create goals that, are good for myself. And there's a lot of accountability through it with
Right.
we have a private Facebook group, and we had to post so many posts. And I'm not really a person that so much likes to tout what I do, but
Right.
I was required to do it for
Right.
the challenge. So it took away the guilt of it. Like, oh, I don't want to be talking about the good things I do, but I needed to complete the challenge. And not only was it talking about the good things I did, but we're also required to put in comments and accolades to our fellow members that are also going through this challenge. And it's so fantastic because I myself, with my statements and comments statements that I would write in Facebook, the other members would root me on, encourage me.
Right.
And what a difference it made. And it made a difference, my comments to others. And it completely grew my business, like fourfold, I would say.
Wow.
It really expanded my business. And that was the final thing that made me say, I'm going to become a member, because even just this 90-day challenge alone, the value from that for me personally was enough value that anything else for the other 9 months was just going to be an added perk. I was willing to just be, boom, do this 90 challenge. And I've already felt like I've gotten my money's worth and then some.
No, I love that. And I do think that's so, and I think you said something too just now that's so smart is, I think when we join things, we, sometimes we're like, okay, let me get involved. And then we have the best of intentions, but then we don't do any of them because we sometimes don't know how to start. But you started and tackled it with the 90-day challenge. And if you can dip into the other things, but for you, that's the value add. So I think it's finding that value in whatever it may be that we join. I think it's, whether it's going to the gym or, whatever it is, but there's always, you've got to kind of set yourself up. But I love that yours is the 90-day challenge. Yes. And I'm excited to do the 90-day challenge when it comes with the group. Like, I want to experience it because I think you said that. And then I think Camille has places, first, second, third place. And what did you said? You've been second, you've had third place. Like
I've made it top 3 all 3 years that I've done it. And
okay, see, and because we're all we've all got a competitive edge to us. I mean, we're all human.
Yes.
In a holistic field, perhaps, but we all still have a competitive edge to us as well. So, and I love that it's, it is the end of the year, so it helps us kind of perhaps get to those things maybe that we hadn't done or had been putting off. And that sounds like that helped you really catapult.
Oh, it's really, like it just brings the close of the year in such a powerful way. Like that it's like, okay, we've done so much all year, but like, let's bring it home these last 3 months. And it really does that for me.
Right. I love it. So as we're about to bring it home and wrap up, if you had 3 words to describe NLBP, what would they be? Like, what are the 3 words for you that have been part of your experience?
I would say accountability,
okay,
mentoring, and the challenges. And I mean challenges in like the 90-day challenge and other ones that Camille will do during the year as well, that also have propelled me forward as well.
Okay.
So it's great to have these kind of spattered throughout the year, to have things to look forward to and different ways and things to just push you out of your comfort zone so that you can grow more.
Right. No, I love this. I do love it. And I think growth being, a part of it is a big part of it. And so with that being said, I want to first thank you for your time,
Absolutely.
your inspiration. Truly, I mean, I learned so much more. So this is like call number 2, 3. So thank you, because I do think it's truly inspiring. And you may not realize it, but I think you will really kind of inspire once this is really shared with the, with the world. So thank you for doing that, because it takes, I think, a lot of courage too.
Thank
so
you.
Thank you. And then, most importantly, thanks for being a partner at NLVP, because it's, without our partners, we don't have a partnership. So you all really are part of that collective. So we thank you for being a part of us. And
absolutely. So happy that Camille thought to make this about 5,
I know
years ago.
she is such the visionary. I leave every day so inspired by her. It's such an honor, and it's a pleasure, and it's great to get to know each one of you all as part of the partnership. So I'm thankful. So, and thank you for doing the demonstration. It was very powerful. So thank you.
You're very welcome. Thank you.
All right, Katie, we'll talk soon. Take care.
Take care.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.